One short phrase almost upended the election to replace Trent Franks in Congress. ABC 15 has learned many of the candidates in the West Valley special election violated state law when they left a few words off their petitions to get on the ballot. ABC 15's Melissa Blasey is reporting live in the newsroom now on this developing story. Very carefully worded indeed.
Yes, indeed. In fact, this is Congressional District 8, and there is a special election here. So there are very specific requirements for the wording on the nominating petitions for this particular race. Now, some of the candidates are telling us that the Secretary of State's office asked them to use a very specific new form for this race that did not include this specific phrase. And even one candidate says he went to the Secretary of State's office himself for help, and he got help to do it wrong.
Kevin Kavanaugh went to the Secretary of State's office for help on nominating forms for Congress.
I was assisted by one of their faculty who walked me through the process of creating the petition.
He says the staffer checked his work and even printed it out for him. After he dropped out of the race, Kavanaugh realized his paperwork was wrong. So was the paperwork for 10 of the 12 remaining Republicans, missing a phrase required by state law for a special election, the date their term would expire. He says the omission left all those candidates exposed to legal challenges to get kicked off the ballot.
I'm not going to challenge it. I'm confident in my petition form, and I think it's up to the voters to decide. This is a special election. It's coming up really fast. Early ballots go out in 2 weeks, and I'm confident that the voters will support me.
Debbie Lesko got her petition wording right, so did Phil Lovas. But he did not know until today, the final day to make a challenge and several days after the first batch of ballots were mailed.
Because overseas ballots had gone out and military ballots had gone out, we felt the likelihood of a successful challenge was low.
Kavanaugh says, think about the worst case scenario.
Say, for instance, Lovas and Lesko didn't have good election lawyers. All of the candidates could have been challenged off the ballot by a citizen or a Democrat.
And he says the Secretary of State, Michelle Reagan, and her staff, which run elections statewide, should know the law. Reagan has been blamed for past election snafus.
Perhaps we need a new Secretary of State.
Now, the Secretary of State's office declined comment on this story, saying that at this point there aren't any lawsuits to kick anybody off the ballot because of the petition. So it appears that all of the candidates are in the clear at this point. Reporting live in the newsroom, Melissa Blasey, ABC 15, Arizona.
Lots of very specific requirements on those. Thanks, Melissa.